Where do you file taxes? You can file taxes either by mail or through an online service. If you make under $72,000, there are free options offered directly through the IRS. What are the different sites to file taxes? Here are the following websites that have been IRS approved for filing taxes for free if your income was below $72,000. There may be more websites not on this list that may claim they are free. However, they have not been approved by the IRS and you should be wary of them. There are many other websites that could be used to file taxes such as the following. However, you may be required to pay to use their services in one form or another.
What is the difference between filing over mail versus filing online? Filing online has several advantages, such as it is more accurate. Most online programs will automatically check for the math on the return and catch data entry errors. It is also faster and more convenient. According to the IRS, an electronically filed return will be processed within 1 or 2 days, and the IRS immediately sends a confirmation when they receive a tax return. Filing online's disadvantages. When you are filing online, there is a chance of data loss due to system crashes. There can also be potential security risks because your data can be hacked. If you are filing through a third party, it is preferable to choose an IRS-approved website in order to keep your information secure. On the other hand, paper filing might have less potential security risks than e-filing, and some people find it easier to fill out forms in person than to enter information on a computer. Filing over mail has several disadvantages, such as it takes longer to process refunds, and the form and requirements can be complicated, and there is always the possibility of your mail getting lost.
So what do you need to file your taxes? Among other things, you'll need last year's adjusted gross income, which we discussed how to calculate in the previous video. You also need valid social security numbers for both you and also your spouse if you're filing together. You'll also need W-2 forms that show the total annual wages from your employer, and they're required to give you this form, so if you have a job, you should receive that automatically. You'll need 1099 forms, which show interest, previous tax credits and refunds, and also any income for retirement accounts you may have. And if you have any other income sources, like from a small business you might have, from any rental or real estate properties or royalties, you'll need receipts of that income as well. And finally, if you have a 1095 health insurance form, you'll need to have that on hand as well. I also want to add in here that the irs.gov website is also a great resource to have on hand when you're filing your taxes. If you're under any special circumstances that we didn't cover in this video, the irs.gov/filing website was a great place to start your search for the information you need.
What is the timeline for filing your taxes? You can file as soon as you have all of the relevant information you will need. This includes all personal or dependent information, a W-2 form sent to you by your employer, as well as records of donations, rent, medical expenses, and more. There are alternative forms to the W-2 form that are associated with unemployment and self-employment. Employers usually mail out the W-2 forms by February 1st. You then usually have until April 15th to file your taxes. However, depending on your unique situation, this deadline may change.
Can you file late, and what happens? If you file late, you will get a late filing penalty. According to the IRS, the penalty normally is 5% of the unpaid taxes each month, or part of a month of late payment of taxes. The penalty will accumulate from the second day of the due date of the tax return and will not exceed 25% of a total unpaid tax. To avoid penalty, you can file a tax extension by filing Form 4868, and you should request the tax extension on or before the April 15th deadline. Then you will receive a 6-month extension, which means the deadline will be extended to October 15th of the current year. If you're paying by check or money order, You will need to complete and mail a paper version of Form 4868. It is important to note that the tax return extension is only a delay in filing the tax return application. If there is any outstanding tax, it has to be paid together with the filing of the delayed tax return application. Otherwise, penalties and penalty interest will be incurred. For failure to pay, the IRS will charge a penalty of 0.5% of the unpaid tax. If you are required to pay both the failure to file and failure to pay penalties, then the minimum 0.5% is waived. You only need to pay for a total of 5% of the unpaid tax. In addition, you still have to pay interest on the penalties.
Where can I pay my past taxes and what do I need? Disclaimer: you can pay for taxes you owe on the official IRS website only or by calling the IRS phone number. Do not go onto third-party websites that claim they are the IRS or that they will process your payment to the IRS. Some information you will need are full name, date of birth, email address, home address, credit or debit card information, or bank account information for a direct payment option, year you're filing for, the tax form you're filing under, social security number. If you are married, you may be requested to provide a social security number and your spouse's social security number as well. In order to process a payment, you are not required to have an IRS account set up. It is optional. However, with an IRS account, you are able to view your balance. Once you have completed your payment by either calling them or going onto the official website, you will receive a copy of the transaction made onto your email and will receive a confirmation in the mail from the IRS that your payment was successfully made and as well how much you still owe on your balance. Failure to pay on time will result in fees in a likely increase to the amount you owe. Failure to pay on time multiple times could result in having to forego your payment plan and owe the full amount. If you are planning to leave the country and have a due date that you will not be able to make, you must either pay before you leave the country and before the deadline, or let the IRS know by contacting them. Failure to pay and fleeing the country, even if on just a short and temporary vacation, could result in serious legal consequences.
Are there different payment plans available? Yes. If you are unable to pay your taxes immediately, there are several possible options for payment. Qualifications for these payment plans depend on your specific situation. You can apply through the IRS by phone, mail, in person, or online. One possible payment plan is the long-term installment plan. According to the IRS, you may qualify to apply online if you owe $50,000 or less in combined tax, penalties, and interest, and filed all required returns. With this plan, you pay back your taxes in monthly increments. This plan does require a setup fee, as well as the payment of any interest fees that accumulate until the balance is paid in full. You may qualify to apply online to the short-term payment plan if you owe less than $100,000 in combined tax, penalties, and interest, and will pay it in 120 days or less. The IRS also has an offer in compromise option, which allows you to pay your tax debt for less than the full amount you owe. This option is not for everyone, however. The offer is usually only accepted when paying the full amount is simply not possible, or if doing so would create a serious financial hardship. According to the IRS, they generally approve an offer in compromise when the amount offered represents the most they can expect to collect within a reasonable period of time. Lastly, a temporary delay collection status may be assigned if the IRS determines that you cannot pay your debt at this time, but will be able to in the near future. For more information on these payment plans, or if you are looking to apply, please visit www.irs.gov/payments.